Time to find a pattern. Once again, we are back with Mangle. We are back with the FNAF encyclopaedia part 7. Jesus. 172 out of 221. Right. Mangle, why should you leave repairs to the professionals? This was meant to be a friendlier looking redesign of Foxy that wouldn't scare children. Unfortunately, children kept taking him apart, and eventually the staff decided to just let the kids dismantle and put him back together. However, they wanted Now he's just a mess of parts, as the phone message says. I think the employees refer to him as the Mangle. Parts of Mangle have been put back together in the wrong places, and others are completely missing. He also has a second rough-looking endoskeleton. So yeah, security. Right, Mangle starts off in Kids Cove and is quite active, becoming one of the main antagonists of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Mangle is the most dangerous when crawling across the ceiling, as the Freddy Fazbear head will not deter him from the putting his best foot forwards. It is a he then, because they've said things like where is he? Yeah, look, it says, bonbons a girl. And then it's a he then. Right. Mangle's minigame. Other notable Mangle appearances include a vent repair level in Five Nights in Help Wanted and his own minigame in FNAF 3 on night 2. Go to Cam 07 and click the buttons on the arcade machine in this order: top left, bottom left, top right, bottom right. This accesses Mangle's quest minigame, where you must collect his parts so he can reassemble himself while avoiding a marauding child. Is he waving hello? It's hard to tell. Phantom Mangle, resting in pieces. Like the other Phantom animatronics, Phantom Mangle is an apparition who seems to have been damaged by fire and taunts Fazbear Frights, the horror attraction. You can see him on Cam 04, sometimes on the ceiling. They vent that way. Phantom Mangle's head appears in the office behind the window. Sometimes watching you alongside other animatronics. The FNAF 3 levels of Help Wanted also feature Phantom Mangle, but he but here he acts very differently, appearing in event cameras and creating an error in events. Nightmare Mangle, a mangle of the mind. The Halloween edition of FNAF 4 replaces Nightmare Foxy with Nightmare Mangle. Since the original Mangle was pretty grotesque to begin with, Nightmare Mangle isn't actually much different from him, although his main head is more battered and has the more classic double jaw of the Nightmare animatronics. Oh, and his secondary endoskeleton head is more skull-like. Static interference. Nightmare Mangle acts in much the same way as Nightmare Foxy, but if he reaches the closet, the game becomes more difficult. Like the other versions of Mangle, Nightmare Mangle emits static. This makes it much harder to hear anything else that's going on. I want to skip this so badly, but I'm not. Right, this one might actually be shorter because I might get all the way to mediocre melodies and then and then next video do all the way up to like Old Man Consequences or L Chip, something like that. After this one, we're getting on to like I would say the random ones, because like they don't really fit together. Like Hand Unit doesn't fit with Vendor Box, and you know, like it goes, yeah, it starts getting random after Mangle. Magician Mangle, can't you magic yourself back into shape? True. This was Mangle's first skin, released for the Dark Circus event in special delivery in September 2020. It was the very first set of skins to feature a version of Foxy and a version of Mangle. I see your saw. Magician Mangle carries a saw, presumably intending to perform the old saw the lady in half trick. So don't clamber into any boxes while he's around. His second head wears a set of rabbit ears, as if it's going to be pulled from a hat. Oh wait, and they're holding cards, I think? No. Serpent Mangle, a slippery character. One of just 2 skins produced for special deliveries, Ancient Equinox event in March 2021, the other being the Curse. This is Aztec-themed version of Mangle. He holds a sun and moon in his hands to reference Aztec myths about how the sun and moon were the result of a competition between gods. Oh, that's cool. So you'd have that also kind of is like, hey, sun and moon, you know. Double header. Both of Serpent Mangle's heads wear a snake headdress, and his two-headedness is why Mangle was selected for this theme. The two-headed serpent was a powerful element of mythology in ancient Mexico and was a symbol of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent god. Ooh, the Stitch Wraith. It's just 2 kids inside a big coat. That's new. That one, that one, new. The Stitch Wraith is the main character of the Stitch Wraith Stingers series of short stories. One appears in each of the first 11 Fazbear Frights books. It's an endoskeleton wearing a black trench coat with a crudely drawn white mask for a face. One of its eyes is black. It was created by Dr. Phineas Targart, who wanted to harness the energy of human emotions and believed the most powerful emotion was agony. After he completed his creation by using haunted objects from the past filled with agony, it murdered him. And it kind of would do this weird thing where it make all... I think it might say that. Right. As at the start of the Stitch Wraith stingers, the Stitch Wraith... Hang on. At the start of the Stitch Wraith stingers, the Stitch Wraith has been dismissed by many as an urban, but it's also been linked with a series of murders. As a result, Targar's experiments, it's inhabited by the souls of two dead bodies, Jake, whose soul passed to the Stitch Wraith when it was made, and Andrew, a murder victim. Since they don't understand what's happening to them, they accidentally guide the Stitch Wraith to kill others with its agonizing touch. So what happens is when they touch somebody, their eyes like this, their eyes go black, but it's more black tears. Yeah. Soul survival. When Andrew's soul is released from the Stitch Wraith, the agonizing touch vanishes with him. Jake takes control of the Stitch Wraith and comes into conflict with Eleanor. She is the true source of agony and is trying to spread suffering across the world. He traps Eleanor inside the Stitch Wraith and allows it to shut down in a ball pit within a derelict restaurant before moving on himself. It'll have you in stitches. Mr. Cupcake! Carl the Cupcake! I can't be bothered. Right. Mr. Cupcake. Every day's a party with this guy. Been in so many. Some call him Cupcake, but we prefer the more respectful Mr. Cupcake in his standard form. He's a teeth with pink frosting, a single candle, buck teeth, and eyes. He's usually carried by Chica, and he's in most of the games in some form or other. Five Nights at FNAF 4 and Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator feature variant cupcakes, so the only game with no Mr. Cupcake of any kind is Sister Location. Mr. Cupcake rarely does anything to affect the game. He's just there. FNAF 3 features Chica's party minigame, which requires you to collect shadow cupcakes. Is in the Chica's parts and service level of Help Wanted, Mr. Cupcake hops off his plate and must be returned there by you. And in blacklight mode, he can jump scare you. Oh wait, yeah. Try all our great flavours. Mr. Cupcake features Nightmare Cupcake, of course, while Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator includes the Sharp Tooth Funtime Cupcake. As mentioned, the Shadow Cupcake are in FNAF 3 along with the Golden Cupcake. FNAF 2 introduced the Toothless Toy Cupcake. Special delivery also brought us various Mr. Cupcake skins. 8-bit Cupcake, Torch Cupcake, Scorching Cupcake, Calavera Cupcake, and Mouldy Cupcake. Make a wish before you blow out his candle. Maybe, please let me live. Don't sleep on a full stomach. You may have weird dreams. Right. God, right, let's do mediocre melodies. Mediocre melodies, striking some of the right notes. The mediocre melodies are a group of plastic animatronics who appear in Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, with the exception of Orville Elephant. You can purchase them from the Stan's Budget Tech section of the catalogue as attractions for your pizzeria. Buying all 5 unlocks the mediocre melodies achievement. Real imitations. What's interesting about the mediocre melodies is they're not part of the Freddy Fazbear or Circus Baby groups. They look like they might be a deliberate attempt to mimic the Fazbear animatronics because those have been such a successful part of Fazbear Entertainment's establishment, obviously. Happy Frog. A big fish in a small pond. Here's an idea that hasn't already been done at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza or any of its associated establishments. An animatronic frog. Happy Frog has a humanoid and a frog-like head. The fact she carries a microphone marks out her leader as of the mediocre melodies. But if apparently Chica was the mediocre melodies, then that's weird. Or maybe Chica was just the successful one out of mediocre melodies. If she was the part of the mediocre melodies. Criminally underrated. When she returns for Ultimate Custom Night, Happy Frog has dialogue that gives us more of a sense of her personality. In particular, she feels underestimated. She boasts of her ninja skills and believes she deserves a more highest status than received. Move over, Freddy Fazbear. Happy Frog is the new star of the show. My favourite, Mr. Hippo. Don't get him started. Mr. Hippo, yes. I met Mr. Hippo once. It was about 5 years ago. Or was it 6? Yes, maybe it was 6. Anyway, when he was in the pizzeria on the stage, where he usually was, and I asked him what that box behind him was, and he said, "What box?" And I said, "The box there." And he said, "Gosh, I forgot it was there." There's an interesting story behind that. Oh my god, man. There's an interesting story behind that box. That box. Oh my god. Skip to the end. Mr. Hippo's dialogue in Ultimate Custom Night reveals the key aspect of his personality. He tells incredibly long, rambling stories with no clear point to them. This makes him the worst character to be jump scared by. You have to listen to his stories in full before you can go back to the main menu, which is 3 minutes long. Mr. Hippo also appears in Security Breach in the form of a magnet received from the wind-up gifts and in one of the endings. Pig Patch. Banjo Persoi. Pig Patch is the only member of the mediocre melodies to demonstrate musical ability, as he carries a banjo If you encounter Pitchpack in Ultimate Custom Night, you may get to know this. You may get the sound of his banjo better than you'd like to. He plays a little flourish on it after each time he speaks, usually a mocking comment at your expense. Sound judgment. In Ultimate Custom Night, Pigpatch and Mr. Hippo can both reliably be held in place by an audio law. Using the heaters also works on both characters. Plus, Pigpatch pops up in Security Breach in the arcade game Funtime Fantasy. Right. Orville Elephant, the magical mediocre melody. Orville is a magician and a good friend of Mr. Hippo. As you'd know if you've listened to any of Mr. Hippo's interminable stories. He's unique among the mediocre melodies in as much as he must be bought from the rare finds auction section of the catalogue, and he's more expensive. Obstinate Orville. In Ultimate Custom Night, Orville is the toughest of the melodies to repel. The audio law won't usually work, though you can use the heater against him as you can for the others. Strangely, he does not mention Mr. Hippo in any of his jump scare lines. Maybe they're not such great friends after all. Ned Bear, the off-brand bear. Ned Bear looks a little familiar. Is it possible he's an imitation of Freddy Fazbear, altered just enough to avoid any copyright issues? But he is wearing a regular tie instead of a bow tie, so obviously completely different. Unlike most of the mediocre melodies, Ned Bear has an entertainment score of more than 4. He has 5, but he also comes with a liability score of 1. Dead because of Ned. Don't you hate getting killed by obscure secondary characters? He says when he strikes in Ultimate Custom Night, and yes we do. In Security Breach, he appears as the start of his own arcade game, Ned Bear, the Space Soldier. Right, we'll do Roxanne Wolf, Montgomery Gator, and we might do Trash and Gun and Offline Consequences. We are getting that close already. This has been out for a month, but I only managed to get it on the 24th? Yeah, 24th. So, Jesus Christ. Right. Roxanne Wolf. She's rocks, and she rocks. At Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex, the eerie, not quite put together right animatronics you've come to expect from a Fazbear establishment are things of the past. The glamorous animatronics are cool, sophisticated, perfectly polished pieces of engineering, but it doesn't last. Roxanne Wolf, who plays guitar in the band, is seen to be very vain and looks in the mirror a lot. So when she gets badly damaged during the events of Security Breach, with much of her endoskeleton exposed, including her eyes, she's devastated. Part of Gregory's mission in Security Breach is to take parts from the other Glamrock animatronics and use them to upgrade Glamrock Freddy. Roxanne's eyes can be removed to enable you to see through walls, but it doesn't stop Roxanne. In some ways, it makes her more dangerous since certain tactics can no longer work. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Think about it. Roxanne is one of the main villains of Security Breach, under the control of Annie. Plus Roxanne's area of the Pizzaplex Roxy Raceway was built over a sinkhole that contains the remains of what seems to be Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place. Never build anything over the ruins of a haunted building, kids. Can you please stick to shredding on the guitar, Rox? Right. Should we? Right, let's finish Monty, and then that'll be it. Montgomery. Hey, little guy. Montgomery is one of the glam rock animatronics and perhaps the most glammed up of them all. For starters, he wears star-shaped sunglasses, and like punk elements, check out his mohawk haircut. He plays bass guitar and is prone to throwing rock shapes. He seems to have a rivalry with Glamrock Freddy, perhaps feeling he should be the star of the band. 190 in 2 days! Jesus Christ, that just shows you how much I've been doing this goddamn thing. Alright. Montgomery's area of the Pizzaplex is a mini golf course called Monty's Gator Golf, and he mostly stays there during security breach. Like Roxanne, he sustains serious damage but keeps on going, even though he's lost his legs and his sunglasses, which probably annoys him more. That's one snappy dresser. The Bonnie Mystery. The Pizzaplex used to have a glamrock version of Bonnie too, see? As we can see from the existence of the Bonnie Bowl area. But there's no glamrock Bonnie in the game. Further investigation reveals that Bonnie was badly damaged, removed from service, and then replaced by Montgomery Gator. And a security log states Bonnie was last seen entering Monty's Gator Golf, hitting all the low notes. Alright, that's the end of the video. Next time, Trash and the Gang, Old Man Concentrates, Sun and Moon, Music Man, L Chip. Hang on, let's see how many pages this is. Yeah, Little Joe, and I guess Magician, maybe Egg Baby and Human Heads, and I guess that might be it. We'll see how long the video is. I want every video to be about half an hour or so. Anyways, see you guys.